guys, I'm Doug Massi, and you're about to watch an incredibly special edition of Final Expense Trainer. This video will be a true training webinar of one of our agency's weekly training calls. And that means you're going to learn some of the stuff that only our sales team is privy to. We're going to talk about the CVS Final Expense product, which was put together with the help of Aetna, the Accendo Final Expense product, and that's what it is. It's very interesting, and it's got some pretty cool niches. You'll see what I mean when you see how I compare it to some of the other more popular carriers like Prosperity, American Amicable, Royal Neighbors, and Liberty Bankers Life. This training webinar is also going to include some final expense training on underwriting clients with like health issues like COPD and chronic breathing conditions versus like regular asthma. You're going to also hear me talk about true Social Security billing and why it's different from carriers like Americo and Mutual of Omaha that only do regular Social Security billing. And you're going to also get lots of training info that can totally help you grow as an independent life insurance agent. This is when I'm going to ask that you give the video a big old thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed for some reason, voila, you should definitely do that now. We're putting out new content every single week. And check this out. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the I Am Your Policy, along with the 8 reasons concerned seniors purchase final expense plans. And these two bad boys, you're going to want to use both of them during every single one of your final expense presentations. So with that being said, let's go ahead and roll the webinar and get into the training. Real quick announcement. Prosperity, and I may have mentioned this last week, maybe not. Prosperity has gotten that phone interview down. You know, when they first started doing the phone interview, and when I say phone interview, if you're selling over the phone, and that's what I'm talking about, and they're reading the client the disclosures, it was going on for like 15 to 20 minutes. They've got that down where they're reading it faster. They cut out some stuff that they were able to, and they got the disclosure phone interview down to under 10 minutes. So those of you who haven't written Prosperity in a while because of that, now you got a reason to do it. And so I verified. I know I had, I think Jeff's on the call. He mentioned it, and Steven mentioned it too. So so I've got this being verified by multiple agents. So we know that it may be worth revisiting that Prosperity product if you got turned off by the long interview. So, all right, let's get into the webinar. And we want to start with an apple-to-apple comparison, which kind of makes sense, right? And here's the thing. I'm trying to change a drawing tool, get a little spotlight here. Here we go. So with the apple-to-apple comparison, and let me just go over Accendo. The pros are there's no build chart right off the bat. They don't care the height and weight. They don't ask about your client. That's a nice. We know that there are a couple other products out there that do that. One that we use is Royal Neighbors. So now we have an alternative. They take COPD standard, which means first day coverage. And I know now we've got another one. The other company we're using a lot that does that is Liberty Bankers Life. But here's where it gets interesting. Those companies are 50. Your typical final expense company takes clients 50 to 80. So now you got a carrier that'll take people from 40, and the time to use them would be 40 to 49 years old, or 50, I want to say 81 to 89 years old. Now let me just say this. Once they're over 80, it gets expensive. By that time, most people have already gotten something or have had stuff enough to where maybe it's not even worth it. I wrote a 90-year-old once we had a company that would take 90-year-olds. I wrote a 90-year-old once years ago, and it was like $100 for, I don't know, $3,000 death benefit. It was $100 a month for $3,000. It was high. She canceled the next day. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. Do I have people in their 80s that I've sold over the past few years? Yes, that are on the books. Yes, I do. It's just rare. The insulin, of course, they're not going to ask about it. Great, we got another carrier that doesn't care, so insulin's preferred. And this is where it gets interesting. If you're selling over the phone, there is no phone interview. So now hold on, don't get too excited. Again, you do not want to lead with this company. Look, you're thinking, oh, that means I just get to do an e-app and get approved. Well, yeah, but there's a couple of major cons. And the fact that they don't take direct express cards, to me, that's like a newbie issue, not a big deal. Because if you're doing what we're teaching you on the phone, before you even give prices, you're finding out if they have a regular checking account and if that's where their Social Security money goes. You're finding out if they use direct express instead. You know, you're finding this out. But this is why I'm going to go over true Social Security billing here with you, because they don't do it. You know, they're I'm going to show you some examples. They just don't do true Social Security billing, which is just a little bit of a mess up, which is going to be a nightmare in April. For if you wrote all your clients with this company come April, it's going to be a nightmare, and I'm going to show you why in a couple of minutes. So that's why I did this. I did this apple to apple comparison. You know, Prosperity, they do have the build chart. You know, Prosperity COPD, it's graded. They're only going to take 50 to 80-year-olds, not 40 to 89. Yeah, the insulin not an issue, as with I'm finding with most carriers, of course. And they do that shortened 10-minute interview, which to me, it's not really an interview. They're not asking medical questions. They're reading the disclosures. They're asking for a voice signature, stuff like that. They do take the direct express cards, and they do the true Social Security billing. So if you're a new agent and you're just getting started, or you just kind of stick with Prosperity as a main carrier, please. Otherwise, you know, you're going to make the silly mistakes that the newbies make, that if you try to write Accendo, a company like Accendo, it could cost you a sale. So that's what we're trying to do. You're trying to keep you writing business, keep your business flowing, and keep the errors to a minimum. Keep your learning curve to a minimum. Let you learn off my mistakes, off our group mistakes. It's always better that way. So let's talk about the product information for this Accendo. This and what it is. Just to be clear, is this Aetna product. Here, let me go back a slide. It's Aetna and CVS got together and said, hey, let's get together and party. Let's do a final expense product. So when you go to CVS and you see something about a CVS pharmacy, yeah, the drugstore, and you see something about final expense, that's this product. So if your client says to you, hey, no, I can get this at the drugstore. Well, we have that product, ma'am. But let me show you. This may be why you don't want to get it, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But that's what this is. That's what this is. It's Aetna and CVS's Accendo product. Aetna has a different product, but it's kind of messed up, so we don't want to use it because it only pays if you're like 55 or older, and I think it's 60. And I can't even remember. I haven't used it in a while. It's a different product. But let's go over the information again with this Accendo product. So again, no build chart. That's pretty big, right? Here, this is pretty cool. Their face amounts will go down to 2,000 and up to 50,000. None of the other companies are doing that, guys. But let me just be clear. And I'll show you an example. It's not for everybody. An 89-year-old is not going to be able to get a $50,000 death benefit if that's what they want. So there's limitations on age. But I'm going to show you a good example in a minute. The level, they have the level, the immediate death benefit, and they have a modified product. So the modified, again, a modified means for this product is if the client dies in the first 2 years, it's going to pay 110% of the premiums paid in to the policy. So if they die in the first 2 years, they're getting all the clients getting the beneficiaries getting the money paid into the policy plus 10% interest. You find a bank that's going to pay that, a guaranteed deal like that, and I'm going to join that bank because it ain't happening. Okay, I'm getting like 0.25% interest on my my high interest savings account. So again, they're going to insure people from 40 to 89 years old. Pretty cool. And I'm going to show you exactly why I would use and where I'm going to use Accendo. I'm going to show you that here in a moment. And the accidental death benefit rider. They do have the riders, a couple of different riders. The accidental death benefit rider, I never sell this because it's only good to 70. Now, here's where I would sell it. I got a 40-year-old, a 45-year-old. Okay, now we got to figure out the darn, even for the 50,000, it's going to be priced pretty cheap. So I'm trying to figure out ways to add value, increase the monthly premium, make it to show more options. So that's when I would add an accidental death benefit rider, because it's going to be gone at age 70. The children term rider, and this is pretty darn cool. It's convertible to whole life at age 22 to 25 years old. So as long as the child is 17, they're under 18 years old, it hasn't been their 18th birthday yet, it can be a grandchild, a great-grandchild, a child, a stepchild. It's like it literally doesn't even have to really be blood related in a sense. So you can do more. It's only going to insure like up to 10,000. And I think if you're writing your client a $5,000 policy, I don't think you can give the $10,000 rider, but you might be able to. And that's something I didn't really check on. But you see the idea. These riders, sometimes I'll use, when I've used them in the past, it's kind of like, well, let's create this family policy. Let's make it look like it's more than what it really, really needs to be, and brings that value. That's the only time I've used these type of riders. And in most cases, I mean, honestly, I'll do this a couple of times a year. It's just not that much. Okay, moving right along. So here's your comparison, and this is it's nice because the way I did it, I give you apple to apple, and I'm showing you these are our main companies: American Amicable, Prosperity, Royal Neighbors, Liberty Bankers Life, and now and I wanted to just show you the Accendo. So right off the bat, this little star that's next to all these companies, you see this little star. What that means is they do true Social Security billing. So I'm going to explain that to you guys in a minute because I think that's going to be good as part of this presentation. But here we've got pricing. You've got a 65-year-old dude, and here's your non-tobacco prices. So Accendo, it's right in line. It's nice. It's right smack dab in the middle. It's not the cheapest. It's not the most expensive. Interesting enough, the Liberty Bankers Life Preferred is the cheapest one here, and I just kind of highlighted that to show you that. Look, again, new agents, don't be too concerned about saving the client a few bucks. Be concerned about learning the products. Work with your lead product, get good with that, then start writing other products. And generally what I say is write the Prosperity, lead with that, then maybe start looking at Liberty Bankers Life for other situations, then in Royal Neighbors, and then American Amicable. And so non-tobacco rates, Liberty Bankers Life is the winner here. And remember, Liberty Bankers Life has preferred and standard. Why did I show the standard? Because remember, the Accendo will insure someone with COPD as standard rates, just like Liberty Bankers Life. So in this case, which I thought was interesting, it's a $2 difference. They're both hand in hand here, very close. So let me just say this. So if I'm new, Doug, you're a new agent on the phone, what would you do? You got Mrs. Jones. Would you write Liberty Bankers Life or Accendo? I'm going to write Liberty Bankers Life because of that little star. Because I know that in April, I'm going to show you an example, when the 3rd falls on a Saturday, Liberty Bankers Life is going to get to the money 3 days before Accendo. Okay, so $2 difference, whatever. Accendo, hey, okay, it's a Liberty Bankers Life is the winner here for the preferred, but if it's a standard, if we're trying to give someone with COPD first day coverage, well, here's what we're looking at. Now, here's where I love to show the differences. And I'm going to show you a 65-year-old female in a minute too. So tobacco, American Amicable. You got a smoker, American Amicable. There's your game changer. Well, that's your price buster. So American Amicable, you got someone in really good health and they're smoking, you're giving them their level death benefit. It's $20 better than Liberty Bankers Life. So you're saving them $20 here. As to where up here, it's not a big savings. The most expensive company, it's funny, it's the opposite. American Amicable is the most expensive one, but it's only $7. But here, this is where it gets interesting. American Amicable, that level product for smokers, you got someone in pretty good health, because American Amicable gets a little finicky, about health issues. You got someone who's got, let me just say, high blood pressure and diabetes, and it's not a major diet. They don't, maybe they just started using insulin, a very small amount. Okay, that's fine. This is going to be, your American Amicable is going to beat the prices out. And I want to show you something here. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When we come down to this Accendo product, okay, the standard rate, $192. There are companies where you can give, if they have COPD, and I'm using that as an example because there's other health issues that they'll do standard, okay? Like I think lupus, and there's a bunch. I'm going to put them on the cheat list here. We'll have it by, I want to say, within the next couple of weeks. I'll get that out to you guys. But to me, there are companies that we can give them a modified or graded product. It may not be full coverage on the first day, but the price is going to be a lot better than this. So when I see that, I'm like, whoa, that is just steep. I mean, it's 30 plus, for almost $40, $30-something more than Liberty Bankers Life, just because you're trying to give them first day coverage for a health situation, which maybe to me in most cases, if they waited until they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s to buy insurance, maybe they don't deserve first day coverage. Why be? That's another thing I'm not too concerned about. I am more concerned about putting them with a product that's going to draft correctly, do true Social Security billing, than I am with getting them first day coverage in most cases. And this is why, because most of our clients are low income. That's the people that buy this. Their income is so low that they're living month to month. They're retired. So they're living on a fixed income, or they're poor. So that's the way I look at it. They're either fixed income or they're just really poor. And that's the people that buy this type of insurance. So the draft day is very, very, very important. All right, moving right along. Here we go. We got the female, okay? And you can see, we'll go through this real quick. You can see it's the same idea. You've got different products. Again, Accendo, their product is a little higher price for the female. Okay, so we know that. For guys, it's a little bit better priced. And let's see what the tobacco rates. Non-tobacco, their price not bad, a little higher. And they're close to be in the middle, but they're still maybe a little bit towards the higher, not really. I mean, they're hand in hand with Prosperity here. Let's see. Here it's a few dollars more than Prosperity. So again, let me just say this. Again, with this, with the level, Prosperity is a winner. And there you go. That's to lead with Prosperity. That's why we like that. And again, that standard rate, it's not too ridiculously high like it is with the guys, but there are cases where you will find a modified or graded product that's actually priced lower than this. So again, first day coverage isn't for everybody. If you're trying to put someone with first day coverage who's living on Social Security money, you could lose them this coming April. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you exactly why. So we do the true Social Security billing, and you guys understand that why. So this is when and why I would use Accendo. This is a great, this is everything. It's all right here. I did the research. If I missed out on something, I don't think I did. Text me if you think I make, those of you writing this, and I know because we just got in Florida, and that's the big thing. So now that this product is in Florida, face-to-face agents can write it, telesales agents can write it. Oh, and by the way, if you're selling face-to-face, it's there again, no phone interview. You do it on your e-app. You're going to get the approval right then and there. It's pretty darn simple. What I will say is, like any product, if there's any questions and any doubt, they may come back and say the product that they may not give you an approval immediate. They may actually say, well, it's got to go for review for more information. But here's the bottom line. This is the only product, the Accendo AETNA CVS product is the only product that you can sell over the phone without a phone interview. So that's the interesting part. So what does that mean? When do I use it? Well, if I'm writing somebody up at 9:30 at night and it's closed, 6 in the morning and it's closed. We're catching them before they go to work or they work a weird schedule. You can only sell them at midnight. Does that happen often? No, rarely. Most likely hardly ever. But you got people on Sunday you can sell now. So you got someone you need to catch up. You need to do sale on Sunday. Now you got a product. And Sundays you got a young 45-year-old go-getter who's busting his butt just to get by to make ends meet, and he wants a little whole life insurance. Well, there you go. He's working Monday through Saturday. Guess what? Sunday, no problem. No problem, Mr. Jones. We're going to catch you right after church. So there you go. When I get a client that's super yappy, and I haven't sold over the phone purely in years, but there's nothing more. You have to settle them down. You got to let them know, look, when we do this phone interview part, when we get you on the phone, you just got to say yes or no, which is why Prosperity is nice, because they're not asking their phone interview. They're not asking, all the medical questions. They're not asking that. You already did that on the e-app. By the time you're getting on the phone, all they're doing is reading the disclosures, and they're going to ask them, did you answer all the questions correctly? Something like that. Did you lie? I don't know, something like that they're going to ask, and then they do the disclosure. So if you got someone who's super yappy, and maybe you're afraid you kind of are thinking, let me do Royal Neighbors. We'll do the full telephone application. If they're super yappy, you better forget about. I hate to say it, just don't. You're going to need to stick with Prosperity or Accendo. Accendo would be that where they can't stop talking, because as soon as the client says, have you ever had any heart condition? They're going to say, in the past 3 years, have you had a heart condition? No. Well, wait a minute. Now I did 5. And as soon as they start with that, boom, that's it turned into a yes answer. 5 years ago, this happened. They start telling the story. I'm telling you, this is when I'm talking to the client, this is when I'm thinking, maybe I should use Accendo. Well, it's either Prosperity or Accendo. That's when that thought comes in hand. Your client, again, under 50, over 80. Over 80, you're going to see sometimes. Under 50, you're going to see sometimes, but now you got a product to hit the older folks with. There's nothing worse than getting that TV lead and you find out you're speaking with an 85-year-old and you're like, crap, what do I do? And I know that some of you guys have had it. I know Vic had it. Vic, we talked about that one client you had that was like 88 or 90 or something, really old. Again, it's going to be hard to sell those folks, but that's where this comes in. That's why I'm showing you the death benefit amounts here on the age. One more time, again, when do you want to use it? When you've got a younger client, this product has a higher face amount. So you got someone who's responsible and working. You're not going to be able to do a Social Security billing. So think about that. You got someone who actually has a job. He's 45 years old. He's a painter. He's got a checking account with Bank of America. You're telling them, hey, look, buddy, this is when I'm going to suggest we draft each month, on the 1st, on the 15th, or on the 28th, because we're either going to do it the first of the month, the middle of the month, or towards the end of the month. Just keep in mind, when there's 31 days in the month, they're still going to draft it around the 28th. So you've got that option. Now, 40 to 55 years old, you can sell up to $50,000. Then you'll see, as they get older, they're in their mid 50s to mid 60s. You can go up to 40,000. That's 40,000 is still more than a lot of the other carriers are going to do. I mean, some of the carriers, I think Royal Neighbors only goes up to 25, 30,000. I'm not sure. I shouldn't be saying that. My memory's terrible with stuff like that. So as they get older, the death benefit, you can get them less coverage. 66 to 75, 30,000, 76 to 89, 25,000. The idea of a minimum death benefit, if you're balking at this, don't. I have sold people $2,000 death benefits, okay, for more than $50 a month. I've got a guy that I just sold a $78 $3,000 to, and his daughter called and said when they got the policy, her name was misspelled. What does that tell me? We got a good sale here. We got a good one there. She's all on top of her dad. So we got that corrected. And the idea is now we've got a product. And I know a couple of the other products go down pretty low, but this is nice. 2,000, that's low. That's sweet. If you're selling the modified, because they only have a level benefit or modified, there's no graded in between like prosperity. The modified benefit, just keep in mind, they'll insure them down to 40, but not over 75. And there's a reason. If they got multiple health issues, well, they don't want it over 75 anyways. Aetna, remember, Aetna has been in the final expense market. They had that other product they've had out for years, and they learned a lot with that. So there's a reason it doesn't go over 75. And I'm going to tell you, with the concerns of not knowing what's going to happen long term with our new, the current situation, the sickness that's out there. I don't want to mention it. But with that, some companies have flat out said, oh, no, we're not going to, Royal Neighbors, for example, they won't even do a modified benefit. Nope, we're not doing graded anymore. You got to sell level or nothing. So they don't want the older, sicker folks. So this is pretty sweet. It still goes up to 25,000, which is nice. With some companies it's less. It'll only go up to 10 or 15,000. So all in all, this is when I would use this. And I would say, if you got this on your computer or even on your smartphone, you can screenshot this, take a snapshot of it. You should have done that already, but it's not a bad idea to do that, just because this is a nice little pop. This kind of stuff will be in the cheat sheet. I'm going to add it to the cheat sheet. I'm going to make changes in the telesales cheat sheet here, because I've got Mutual of Omaha on there, and it's just not a good product to sell over the phone because you got to email the client. And I think I might remove Foresters because most people aren't writing the Foresters final expense product. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out. We'll work it. I don't like it to be too complicated, but we're going to make some changes. So don't worry. In the next couple of weeks, there will be a new cheat sheet out for all of our agents. And okay. I wanted to talk about this a little bit, and I wanted to talk a little bit about asthma versus COPD, because what happens is, as folks get older, they tend to have breathing problems. And let me see, Jeff, you just messaged me. Don't worry, you'll be able to get a copy of this. I'll send you a recording, and so. And so I find a lot of agents, they get tricked by the clients. And that's why we're talking about this today. And I'm going to do more stuff. I think on our weekly training call, I'm going to pick a little health condition and maybe address it real quick, just even when I'm not doing underwriting related training calls. So the thing is, you've got like seasonal asthma, and then you've got a chronic breathing condition. Okay, seasonal asthma is what none of the insurance companies really care about this. But when they pull up the prescription and they see, let me just say this, they see multiple inhalers. They see the client's got an Advair and an albuterol, like an inhaler and a nebulizer, or nebulizer. If they got a nebulizer, that's chronic. Whenever there's a nebulizer, they are not going to give the client level coverage, assuming it's seasonal asthma. So, and that's what these companies, they don't care about, when they say asthma, they don't care about seasonal asthma, which is non-chronic. Okay, what does non-chronic mean? It means they're not treating it every day. Now, you'll get a client that says, oh, well, I've had the albuterol for years, but I don't take it every day. Well, what does your doctor tell you to do? Well, and they don't have an answer. That's why you have to dig. So seasonal asthma, no big deal. It's not chronic. they only have one inhaler and they rarely use it. But with chronic breathing conditions like COPD, anything chronic, this is what they're concerned about, there's always like an extra inhaler. And here's where a problem comes in. Let's say they have Advair, but they switched to, ProAir, for example. If they did this within a year, it's going to look like they have two different sprayers, two different huffers. It's probably going to be treated like a chronic condition, and your client won't get approved for preferred rates. They're going to get approved for that, that standard rate or graded or modified product. So just keep that in mind. Multiple inhalers, they have an inhaler and a nebulizer, or just a nebulizer. Nebulizers there's one thing, you have a nebulizer, it's because you got a breathing problem. Okay, that's what that is. So always ask more questions when the word asthma comes up, because in most cases, and this is my experience, it's usually more than asthma. As soon as they have the inhaler, I'm getting all into it. I'm like, well, have you ever had to use a different inhaler? When was the last time the doctor switched an inhaler? What else do you use for breathing? I'm asking. I need to know more, because I know darn well that there's a good chance it's most likely, if they just say they got a little asthma, it's most likely not seasonal, but more likely a chronic breathing condition. So guys, that is basically it. Now, I told you I'm going to talk about true Social Security billing. I'm going to show you a really good example. So, or will I? Okay. Oh, geez. How do I do this? Move this. All right. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it, guys. Sorry. All right. I'm going to have to do it without showing you, because they changed this silly platform, and now I can't just do what I was able to do before. So guys, all right, I'm making sure you can still see this. So I'm going to give you an example. In April, if you pull up your own calendar, let's just do this. Go with me. I'm looking at the Social Security benefit payment calendar. Okay, in April, if you pull that sucker up, what's going to happen is on the 3rd is going to fall on a Saturday. If your client receives their Social Security benefits on the 3rd in April, because the 3rd falls on a Saturday, on the weekend or a holiday, what Social Security is going to do is pay them the day before. So they're not going to wait until Monday, the day after. They're going to pay the day before. So on April of 2021, the 3rd's going to fall on a Saturday. Your client's going to get their Social Security benefit on Friday, the day before. Why is this important? I'm going to show you. Let's find it. Because remember these stars? All these companies, American Amicable, Prosperity, Royal Neighbors, Liberty Bankers Life, they're going to draft the payment on Friday. They know the client. They're following the Social Security calendar. And if you Google the word Social Security benefit payment calendar or something like that, you'll see a calendar pop up. And I can send it to you. If you email me, I can send you one too. You should have it. But it'll show on the 3rd that these clients are going to get paid on the 2nd, the day before. All these companies, American Amicable, Prosperity, Royal Neighbors, Liberty Bankers Life, are going to draft on Friday. Accendo is going to wait until Monday. That's 3 days later. That's 3 days after they've had their money. Do you know how many trips you can make to the debit machine to withdraw money between Friday and Monday when you are living on $800 or $1,200 a month fixed income or less? I met people with $600 and less. That's all they're getting. Think about it. It's too easy. Oh, Friday comes along, they get paid. Okay, let me take money out. I'm going to save money for my life insurance. And then Saturday comes up. Oh, I forgot something. I need to get, I don't know, I forgot milk. Now they're pulling out a couple more bucks. And then Sunday comes along. Man, it's football. Wow. I got to watch this football game. Oh, I need some beer. There goes the money. You're going to get an instant. Monday's going to come around. Ascendo's going to draft. Who else does this? Ascendo. Americo doesn't draft it correctly. Foresters ain't going to draft it correctly. Mutual of Omaha, they're all going to draft on Monday. And if the money isn't all there, these clients, their income is so low that they have overdraft protection. And what will happen is one or the other. Either the draft gets blocked, or either the draft gets blocked or money gets drafted that's not there. And now they're blaming you anyways. They're blaming you because you got to the money last, because you didn't get to the money when they got the day they got their Social Security benefit. So they're blaming you. They're blaming the insurance company. They're canceling the insurance. And now you just got advanced 9 months on a sale that if you start drafting in February, they're going to get the money February and March. You're going to be paying back 7 months if you sell today a client that's paying the premium on the 3rd, that received their Social Security benefits on the 3rd. So guys, I hope you guys get, that's why it's so important to lead with these companies that have the stars. American Amicable, Prosperity, Royal Neighbors, Liberty Bankers Life, they all have their niches. If you're going to only have one company, it's always going to be Prosperity. But to me, it's nice that we've got this Accendo product that goes below 50. Now we've got a nice little niche here. You know, we've got all these scenarios where we've got the right product for it. Now remember the give and take. They ain't gonna take, Accendo will not take direct express cards, and Accendo is not going to do true Social Security billing. So if you're going to put a client with Accendo, you better make sure they're responsible enough to pay. If they're on Social Security and they're living check to check, you do not want to put them with Accendo. You do not want to go, okay, well, here's the give or take. I can give them first day coverage because they have COPD, and what good's that going to do when 3 months from now they go to draft the money and it's not there? What good is saving them money when it's more important for the money to be there so they have insurance when they die than not? Am I right? You can agree to disagree. I look at every situation a little bit different. I try to read my clients. If I know darn well there's a good chance they're going to fall off the books for non-payment because their money doesn't even last a couple of weeks after they receive their Social Security benefits, I'm probably not going to put them with Accendo. I'm probably going to stick with one of the carriers that does true Social Security billing. Guys, I hope everybody has a killer weekend. If you need anything, you know how to reach me. Happy hunting. Oh, the weekend's over. You got to have a killer week. Ciao.